What's up, party people? The moment that we have all been waiting for. Amber Guyger's testimony. And yeah, she lied. She did a lot of lying. Well, she told a lot of contradictory statements. Like, number one, she said that when she shot Botham, he was standing up, even though the forensic evidence says he was in a crouching position. This entire trial, they were saying that she pulled over for that 16-minute conversation. She says, no, I didn't stop. I pulled straight into the parking spot. Really? Okay. She says she remembers nothing from her CPR class. She remembers nothing from her de-escalation class. So all that training, but she don't remember none of it. All right. Well, like they said, all that remorse, all that crying, and it was like 2 days later, she was sexting Rivera again, but she was supposed to be cutting it off, right? I thought she ain't have sex since 2017 with him. It was a waste of her time. But 2 days later, I believe it was, she's right back to flirting with him. Then she says that she gave him a sternum rub. A sternum rub. But she didn't notice how much blood. She saw the bullet wound, but she didn't notice how much blood. Enough to use any of her first aid or her bandages. Let's see, what else? She was scared to death. Oh, I'm sorry. She was scared to death, but went in anyway. Now, she ain't called for backup, no reinforcements. She has no idea if she believes this is a burglary. She has no idea if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people in there. But she wanted to go in and face the threat, which I'm gonna come back to that in a second. Let's see. She was there for 2.5 months. Never paid attention to nothing on the 3rd floor. And of course, she don't remember a lot of her texts, of course. And the weird thing about it is, now they say that neighborhood is so sketchy, right? But everybody has a problem with securing and locking their door. Like, dude, I don't know his name, but he said he'd walk his dog, leave the door open. That is such a sketchy neighborhood, but apparently for that complex, door security is not a priority. The girl said somebody walked into her apartment. The dude said he walked into somebody else's apartment. And like I said, he said when he walked his dog, he'll leave his door open. The girl, well, I'll get back to that in a minute. But anyway, like I said, Amber just did or said a lot of contradictory statements. And what I really want to get on is the Ranger. Well, uh, before the Ranger, they had that forensic specialist up there. And he spent all that time up there. He spent all that time. But everything was speculation. So what was the point? Like, you sat up there and wasted all that time. But he couldn't, like, dude, you ain't going there and measure nothing? Like, you took no measurements in there? Everything is speculative. Well, yeah, that might be the spot. Maybe a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. What, is it yay or nay, nigga? What are you saying, man? And even the judge had to be, what, why? Like, did he not have all the information? Like, why is everything speculation? He has no determinations on anything. So why he was up there? But then, like I said, I wanted to get to the Ranger and Mr. Rambo, because he felt that Amber Guyger had no other option than to proceed and confront what she felt was the threat. No other option. He sees no other option. Once again, this is a 5'3" woman. Yeah, she works out, but she has no reinforcements, no backup. She still has her bags in her left hand, according to her testimony. And she has no idea. She hears noises, but she has no idea what's on the other side of that door. But she has no other option but to go in and eliminate the threat. Really, Rambo? Like, backing up, taking a defensive position, watching the door? Because unless they had a ladder and even though they brought those neighbors up there, the dude on the second floor and the girl on the third floor, she said her neighbor would look into the apartment, but nobody mentioned anything about coming from the first floor up to the third floor through their back door. So unless they had a ladder and was planning on bringing all this stuff out the back door, as long as you set up a defensive position around one of them corners and keep your eye on the door, most likely they're going to be coming out the door. Just saying. I'm not even a cop. I'm just saying. But that's not an option to him. Rambo wants to go in there and confront the threat. No backup, no reinforcements. No idea what you're walking into. Okay, Rambo. So if you feel there was no crime committed, let's keep the same situation, right? But reverse the roles. All right. Now, let's say Botham was a registered firearm carrier. He had his permit and everything. And he says that he went to the wrong apartment and shot a little white woman in her underwear who just happened to be a police officer at home in her living room. Would you still see no crime? In that situation, you have to eliminate the threat, right? You see nothing wrong with that. So, if the situation was reversed and Botham walked in and killed a policewoman in her living room, in her drawers, while she was watching TV, you would still see no crime with that? Really? Just asking. I don't know. Like I said, maybe he's really for that blue line, but dude, all right, Rambo. All right, Rambo. And like I said, the defense is still gasping at straws because they're trying to get anything from anybody. They are trying to get anything from anybody. But here's the crazy thing about it. What you're arguing proves it was a crime. It proves Botham deserves justice. And what I mean by that, the defense is trying to say that because Amber Guyger sensed a threat and she felt she was walking in on a burglary of her home, she had the right to shoot. But the fact of the matter is that in all actuality, Botham had an intruder in his home. So even if he did charge her, even though he had no weapon, but even if he did charge her, he had every right to protect his home and his property. And at that moment, there was an intruder walking into his home. So you're saying because she thought that was her apartment, she had the right to defend it. That was Botham's apartment, but he didn't have the right to defend it? The same thing you're arguing for her goes for Botham, and that is fact, because that was his house. It wasn't her house, it was his house. He had a threat. He faced, his life was in danger. And he ended up paying a price for it, for defending his house. But you want her to get off because she thought it was her crib. I got emotional again. My bad. I'm sorry. Y'all be blessed, be safe, man.